Hi guys, Ray from Love RV and Boat. So continuing my prep of our CHB Trawler vestry for this summer season, I've been changing out the filters. Changed the oil filter there and the Rayco filter down there. They're just spin-on filters, just spin the old one off and clean up things, add new gaskets, put them on. But one thing I want to do this year is do an upgrade on these secondary fuel filters. Right here and here. These are the old style that aren't really a spin-on. They clamp together and there's a bunch of different O-rings you have to put in, kind of finicky. They're notorious for causing leaks, air getting into the system, and then your engine doesn't run quite right. So I've purchased a adapter kit. These are called CAV filters, and it's going to convert it to a normal type spin-on filter, which will greatly reduce the time and pain it takes to change these filters. Also, if you know they get clogged while we're underway or something, I'll be able to get the boat back up and running a lot quicker. So we'll just show you the kit I bought and explain what I'm going to have to do. So here's the old replacement filters, and I'm going to replace them with these nice little spin-on filters. This is the adapter kit I got. What's it say here? Fuel filter adapter model DP1000, CAV filter head adapter. Turns old cartridge type CAV filter head and canister to a screw-on filter. Eliminates bleeding problems, higher fuel flow to injector system, saves time changing filter, lower fuel flow resistance, uses filters with or without drain, longer injection and injection pump life. Sounds good to me. And so this comes for Perkins or Ford. So it's got some extra, 2 different bolts and washers there. The Ford one looks a little easier to do. So this will go and clamp against the existing assembly there, and then this bolt along with this washer and O-ring here will go through that, and then there'll be an O-ring underneath that fits in, and another O-ring, and then that will be all installed there, and simply be able to screw the filter right on there. Easy peasy. So shut off all my fuel valves, get a bucket under there because I'm sure some fuel is going to come dripping out of there. Also, an advantage of this is I'll be able to pre-fill these filters with clean diesel, and then there won't be as much bleeding to go, air bleeding to happen to get the motor running again. Okay, so we get the long bolts off. Little washer on those, and then underneath the bowl there's some washers on those as well. Just gonna go down and take a look at what's left underneath, give you a view looking up into the assembly. Okay, that's looking up at them. There's a couple more washers here inside there and right there to pull off, and I can start installing the new assembly. Well, I got the old washers out, so you can see there's 4 washers for each of those filters. And now I'm going to be installing the new washers, but once they're installed, then I'll just be spinning the filters on and off, and they have their own washer built in, so be a lot quicker and simpler, you know, especially usually when you need to change these filters is you're at sea and, you know, you get some rough weather and maybe it stirs up stuff in your tanks and you get a clog in one of these filters and you have to pull it off while you're pitching and rolling, and you got to go down there and you're underneath trying to fish out and reinstall all the washers and then put the filters back in. So I think this is going to be a much improved system. So first step is to take the big bolt with the little washer on, feed it through the top opening. And there's a spot underneath that this washer goes into a groove, and also this washer goes into a groove, and then I can install this part. Well, got one of them on. See, the small ring just goes back in there, and that fits up in there. Have to make sure you get it lined up and not squashed out. And then the next step will be to tighten it to the right torque. I'll have to look at the manual and see. I'm not sure how tight to do that. Okay, so there's a couple different instructions. I'm using the Ford, so it's different. I don't need to use the nut. If I use the smaller, thinner bolt, I have to use the nut. Final instructions are a little bit hard to understand. It says place a 10mm open end or box wrench in the palm of your hand. Place your thumb and index finger 90 degrees to the cross holes on the smooth portion below threads on socket and tighten. Do not over tighten. All caps. If you feel the metal between your fingers move, stop. Adapter should tighten before this could happen. Pre-fill filter with clean fuel and spin on. Pump auxiliary hand pump 5 to 6 times and start engine at half throttle. So I gather from this they want it snug but not overly tightened. So I'm just going to snug everything up and then spin on the filters and make them snug and go from there. If I'm getting any leaks, I can always add a bit more torque to them, tighten them up a little bit. Okay, so everything's snugged up there, ready for a test. Now I have to go down in here, see if I can see it here. Right down here is a little pump. There's a manual plunger here, so I have to plunge that and get rid of any air that's in the system. Over to my injection pump here, and there's 2 bleed screws on here, one here and one here. So I pull that open and I bleed the air out of that until bubbles stop coming out. Close it, and the same on that. I should be good to go. A little bit cramped down here. Doing some of my engine bay yoga today. Okay, so give it a pump. You can see bubbles coming out. I'm just going to pump it till I get just fluid coming out. Okay, we'll give her a test run here. Get a bucket of water to be sucked through the engine. And you can see how nice my bilge is. Give you a quick before after. Cleaned it all up and repainted it, prepping for the battery box to go back in. Anyway, let's give her a crank. Put this throttle up a bit. Still a little bit of air in there. Seems pretty good. I'll have to get some water flowing in there. With that new seawater pump I installed last year, it really sucks that water through pretty quick, which is a good thing. Okay, So I got a spare set of all my filters ready to go in case we run into a problem. I'm going to keep the old system. So I do have some new filters for that as well. So I'll keep that with my engine parts. And this I'll keep down in my engine room, handy in case I need them. If you're wondering, this is where I got it. I picked it up off of Amazon. But that gives you a look. It says Atlantic quality parts for farm and construction equipment. And there's the part number, made in, looks like Taiwan, and made in Taiwan. So this engine's used a lot in tractors and stuff. 1976 Ford Lehman, 120 horsepower. So it's been marinized, but it originally was for tractors and farm equipment. Cool. Let's go down there and check for any leaks. Well, everything looks good. No leaks thus far. I'll be doing some more testing here in the boat yard, run the engine a bit, and then once we get on the dock I'll run it, and then we'll do a few short sea trial trips just to make sure, but I think that's going to be a good upgrade. Hope it helps anybody who's thinking of upgrading theirs as well. Till next time, Ray from Love Your RV and Boat. Cheers, everyone.